Alright, so something amazing's just happened and I felt compelled to talk about this, so I've just sat down to watch The Wild Geese. I just got the DVD. It's a film I'd been wanting to get for some time and I'd just been putting it off and finally committed and I just sat down to watch it. Anyway, just had Roger Moore's first scene in the film. Um, it's amazing. I haven't seen a Roger Moore like this before. So basically, what this is, Roger Moore apparently in this movie is playing Timothy Dalton's Bond, which I never thought I'd ever see because obviously Timothy Dalton obviously very famous for his real hard edge dark portrayal as Bond. He was very much playing up the assassin, the steely-eyed killer aspect of Bond, which is fair. And Timothy Dalton's my favourite Bond. License to Kill's my favourite Bond film. But the interesting thing with Roger Moore, now I've always loved Roger. I've always had a lot of time for Roger Moore. But he was always very self-deprecating. He always sold himself short, and he's always talked about his time as Bond and said, I well, I'm a lover, not a fighter. So he was more of a softer Bond, especially as the films went on. Because you look at him in Live and Let Die, and he, admittedly, in Live and Let Die, he does have something of an edge. But I've heard it said that if you watch Live and Let Die, Roger Moore's playing more his Simon Templar role than he is playing Bond at that point. Certainly by the time you get to Spy Who Loved Me, Roger Moore and the creative team had worked out, what his Bond was going to look and sound and act like. But in that early period with Live and Let Die, he had something of an edge. But as the films went on, he became a lot more fun-loving, tongue-in-cheek, playing up the campiness of it all. And that's fair enough, and it helped to distinguish him from what Sean Connery had done. Roger Moore had basically said words to the effect of, Sean was the killer, I was the lover. But apparently, from what I've just seen in his introductory scene in The Wild Geese, oh no, apparently Roger Moore can play the killer just fine. The steely-eyed assassin, apparently he can just do that fine. He can just any day of the week. I can just do it at the drop of a hat, apparently. So it gets me to thinking, where, as much as I love Roger Moore as Bond and what he did with it, where was this? Apparently you could have done License to Kill with Roger Moore, no problem. Makes you think. But yeah, I just wanted to make this quick video because I just was so blown away by what I've just seen. I mean, granted, obviously we're only in very early stages of the film, but if we're getting a full film of Roger Moore playing Timothy Dalton, sign me up. This could potentially be Roger Moore's best role. I just got to watch that film for the first time as well, The Man Who Haunted Himself with Rog, and that is, of course, a performance that he was always very proud of. I think it's a direct quote from his autobiography, My Word Is My Bond. It's the one role where I felt as though I actually had the opportunity to act, and he does a damn good performance in The Man Who Haunted Himself. But now seeing this in The Wild Geese, I mean, I always knew it was the case that Roger was always very harsh on. He was probably his harshest critic. He never gave himself the credit he deserved, and these just showcase that Roger Moore is a damn fine actor. Obviously a lot better than he gave himself credit for. Thankfully, you always had people like, and still have people like Michael Caine there. Michael Caine's always talked about Roger Moore. Obviously, they were very good friends. But he's always talked about Roger Moore in absolutely glowing terms. And I always remember there was a tribute to Roger Moore, and obviously Michael Caine spoke during that tribute, and Michael Caine, he gave all the credit in the world to Roger Moore. Michael Caine saw it. He knew what a damn good actor Roger Moore was. And Michael Caine, he doesn't have to, he's at the stage of his career, he doesn't have to sugarcoat anything, he doesn't have to butter anybody up. So if you know it's coming from Michael Caine to get that high level of praise, you can take it to the bank. And watching Man Who Haunted Himself and watching this now in the Wild Geese, yeah, it just confirms it. Roger Moore was the real deal, even though he'd never admit to being. He damn sure was. So thank you for listening to me just spew all of this word salad spontaneously. Thank you for listening to me ramble. If you haven't seen the Wild Geese, check it out. It's basically going to be Expendables-esque. Richard Harris, Roger Moore, Richard Burton. Yeah, so dig it. And also Man Who Haunted Himself. Check that one out as well. Nice, good mystery thriller type. And again, just showcases what a damn good actor Roger Moore is, or was. Again, you talk about, it's one of those things, the fact that he's no longer with us, it's, you get so used to people being there. And obviously I was always a big Bond guy, so I was always used to Roger Moore being there, and then just that the fateful day comes, kind of like with Christopher Lee, obviously last year with Sean Connery. These people, you think it's never going to happen until it does. But yeah, that brings us to a close. Thanks for listening to me ramble, and I appreciate your time, and I wish you guys all the best. Thank you very much. Bye bye.